Go down or do? No, I'm
Well,
just going down.
Do it and sit up. There you go.
And then how can I lean back? It's super restricted.
You have to push in and out. No, pull it. Pull the thing.
Out?
No, in.
In? This is going well.
How are you having,
okay,
how are you having trouble with the bait?
We've been live.
Like that's the motion.
Yeah,
oh, are we? That's it. Weird.
We've been live.
Andrew knows how to use this chair. What are
Nope.
you talking about?
What's up, guys? Welcome. Jeff and I'm in Miami with Jeff, so we thought we'd hop on and answer any of the questions that you have around agency, Facebook groups, and monetization. So how should we start this?
Oh, I thought that was a great start.
Thank you.
I'm hoping magically thousands of people will flood in amazing questions.
We have two.
Is one of them me?
Am I the other one?
A grand total of 0 real life people.
That's funny. So if you're on the live, give us hashtag live. Again, any questions you guys have, drop them down below. We'll answer them. But what do you want to talk about, Jeff?
My bike shop. Actually, I think that'd be a good conversation.
Okay.
So the bike shop, he's got 3 locations now. We started off with 1, and we helped him get to 2, and now he has 3.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, he was paying $13,000 a month, which is like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that number
What month was that?
That was like 4 months, 5 months ago.
Okay. And that was for 1 location.
That was in total for his whole marketing package, which covered 2 locations.
Okay.
And that number has consistently been dropping down and down and down to a point where he's only paying $3,000 a month now, which is like a big bummer because I used to hang my hat on like 13K bike shops and now it's a 3K bike shop, but it's still fucking pretty cool.
Yeah.
What I'm realizing is that I fell into the same mistake that I always tell people not to fall into, which everyone does because it's money, which is custom work. I was doing like specific ads targeting specific people that were going at specific times with a specific offer, specifically within a store. So like it was really, really cool to get 1 ding every like 3 weeks because it was somebody flying into Miami that made a certain amount of income that was interested in a certain bike that was in the radius.
Right. I remember when you did.
And that was super. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that's his dream customer. That's not necessarily his real customer.
Right.
And I should have said, well, what are we shooting for here? His answer is always going to be sales, right? And so I probably spent way too much time, effort, and energy trying to make him feel good about spending $13,000 when I should have made sure that he was getting a bang for his buck at $13,000.
Right.
And so the 100 leads that we were getting started to dip down and down and down and down and down, to a point where we're only getting like 20 or 30 a month, which is fine, but those weren't enough to compensate for his bad sales processes. So if I was getting 100 people a month that were calling his business, but he only picked up half the phone calls,
right?
Still got a whole bunch of people coming in and buying stuff, which made me look good. But now he's only getting 15. And now all those people have much higher thresholds for buying. Your staff really has to be on point. Those are his dream customers, but he wasn't ready for the dream customers.
Right.
And looking back, I've essentially paid the price of going from 13K to 3, because what I should have done is said, yeah, you want those dream customers. We have to build your business accordingly and grow into that instead of just finding those dream customers and targeting them. I think that happens a lot with new agencies like me. That happens a lot with agencies that are growing, like people watching this live. And that happens specifically with agencies that want to keep their client happy. What you have to do is make sure your client gets a bang for the buck, what they're paying you.
Right.
That's sometimes different than keeping client happy. Like when your client says, I only want people who make over 250 grand, that have back problems, that used to play hockey, that live within 2 miles. You're like, okay, great, you're going to pay me. So that's what you do. When you really should be taking a step back and having conversations saying, all right, great, but what are we trying to accomplish? What's our number 1 goal?
I think that goes along with just sticking to your own process, right? And just saying, no, this is the way it is. I know what's right.
Yep.
You are the doctor. You prescribe the medicine. They don't get to say what it is.
Correct. Like no plastic surgeon says, so what do you think we should do?
Yeah.
Nobody fucking says that. Like you're the plastic surgeon, it's up to you. And so for anybody watching this live,
we have 22 people. People love listening to you.
Isn't it fun? It's my stories about nothing. Yeah, my Seinfeld sequences.
You say nice things out of your mouth parts.
I'm lucky it comes out that way because then when I'm recording my VSLs, I don't talk very well. And you've had to listen to me like fuck up every 13th
I know.
word.
I'm like, I thought you were perfect all the time.
Now
Nope.
I'm just a functioning illiterate.
This is so funny.
But I think for people watching this live, you have to keep in mind like and abreast of the challenge which will happen, which is you may accidentally allow your client to dictate, which makes total sense because they're paying you. But you have to keep in mind in the back of your head, what's the result that we're looking for? And very rarely is that result targeting one specific type of person. Instead, that result is instead targeting a market of people that are a good fit for your client's product and end result. And so that's a mistake that I fell into. And you know, it's great when we get like one ding every 2 weeks, but that doesn't keep a client.
Yeah. Have you had this conversation with your client?
Yeah, he came in last month and I wrote on the board, said offboarding session. Like I genuinely thought we were done. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And we barely made enough leads to like keep everybody happy. And the way that I like positioned and pivoted was saying, I sent you people who were interested. They were messaging you. They were calling you. What the hell is going on with your staff? Who's responding like these one-word answers? And it was him. And I was like, you're the reason why you're not getting sales. You need the sales training that you're letting your staff go through. Because if you're messaging these people who are your dream clients and customers, there's nobody else that's at fault. And I was saying it because I was like assuming you we were done. And then he writes a fucking check. Yeah. So sometimes, you know, you never know. But it's interesting. Like the more I prove my clients are in the wrong, the more they want me to pay me to do it correctly. And I don't understand. But. So
the sales training that his staff has gotten is your Conversion Academy?
The Conversion Academy is like an iteration of the sales training idea.
Okay.
So the Conversion Academy that I'm releasing is essentially like a white label sales training.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So any agency owner, and this is the challenge that I have, it's like I tell the owner or the boss, and then the owner or the boss fucks up with their staff.
Yeah.
Like doesn't talk about the follow through that's required. Doesn't talk about how I'm doing sneaky surveys. They're not updating the customer database. Like they're always caught by surprise when like Sharon goes, I didn't know you were recording the calls. I go, Sharon, I fucking told your boss. And then Sharon goes, the boss never said anything. And so I went over all the sales training I've ever done for all my clients and customers, which is like 90% the same. And then I white labeled it. And so now it's literally going to be like, great, here's how you're supposed to answer the phone call. Here's the script. Here's the text. Here's the voicemail. Here's the customer database. And then it's like how I catch you in lies, but not like said that way, but differently, like sneaky surveys, callback recordings, call recordings, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm testing that now with my car wash, who's going through change of management 2 locations because they're horrible at doing the callbacks because I fucking monitor them. And we're releasing it at like the CEO level, so he's just going to push it down. I'm releasing it to my inner circle and probably the bike shop. And so it's like literally what my biggest frustration was with my clients was they were not communicating the expectation to their staff. And I was like, well, fuck you. I mean, I hate you. I mean, I love you. Pay me money. But now it's literally like, here's your mini course, and just give this to your staff. Yeah. And I can see like they log in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's putting me in a different position to say, I know that this is a problem, and I'm going to charge you for it. Here's all the videos. Or saying I'm doing customized sales training and I include it in like their customer portal, something like that.
Yeah. So where did the sales training come from? Bunch of books that you read, other courses you've taken?
like 5 of these, right? Plus some courses that I took. Yeah. I've been watching Landon Porter a lot that talks about sales, Mark Levine stuff, Frank Kern, a lot of Russell Brunson. Essentially what happens, the problem that I'm solving is I, as a business owner, don't know how to tell my staff to follow up. I wish it was as simple as like, can you call back? But it never works out that way.
Yeah.
And so now I'm saying to that business owner, look, you need lead management. And I took that term from Nick Robbins, who's got a course coming out. It's actually like pretty darn useful. It's helped me get my VSL up and running. And I totally forgot your question, but.
How did you come up with the Conversion Academy?
So the way it came up was I was doing this for my clients anyway. Like when they would fuck up, I'd call Sharon on a recorded line and say, Sharon, I'm going to play you back the recording. And then I would play it back and I would say, you did this wrong because you simply did not pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And then she started picking up the phone. I said, you are not following the script. You need to follow the script. And I do a screen share. I type it out for her. And then I just Google Drive everything. And so I looked back at like all the recordings I've ever done. And I said, all right, well, now this is a thing. And it's literally called Conversion Academy. And it's got like 23-minute videos. And it's one less reason why a client or a customer can't do their part.
Yeah. So here are the text scripts, here are the call scripts.
Here's how you're supposed to follow up.
The time, yeah.
Jordan Parker shared something with me, which is, who else would you like to bring to your appointment? That's fucking stupid easy. Just say that from now on, right? And that's like an easy way to get 2 or 3 people in the room at the price of just one customer opportunity.
Yep.
So guess what? That's in like the mini module. Easy way to triple your walk-ins. Say this, Sharon.
Yep.
Right. And it talks about the customer database, how I do sneaky surveys, I do welcome texts, I do callbacks where like on a recorded line, I call back some of the leads saying, hey, I'm with the quality assurance team. That's something anybody can do right now. And even when I call the inbound or record the inbound calls, like all that is outlined. So I don't have to rely on the client instructing his staff because they will never do it anyway. So
right.
We'll see what happens.
Cool. Love it. Guys, we're here to take any of your questions in regards to anything, really. I don't give a shit. We'll answer anything. Thank you for everybody that's commented thus far. Hope this is helpful. Yes, Nick Robbins is the man. He's fucking dope. It sounded so douchey.
Yes. I like how we both have pockets, by the way.
Do we?
Like, look at that.
Oh, you can actually go in your pocket.
You don't have a real pocket?
No, I have a real pocket.
Oh, okay,
just
cool.
Most people don't.
I just
fake pockets.
I don't like how it sags that way, but whatever.
I love the word sags.
Isn't it fun?
What's your favorite word?
Spoon.
Spoon? Is that the first thing you saw in the room?
That's the first thing I saw in the room, actually. I was just looking at something, I was like, a spoon. Question here is, what was the biggest mistake you both made when starting? We're totally going to have different answers. So I'm going to say mine first so everyone thinks I'm right. So the biggest mistake I made when I was starting out was trying to niche and trying to do cold email and cold calling and cold Facebook ads. There are lots of people who have results of this. I never did. It's not in my bones. It's not in my Jeff-ness. Like, I found the best way for me to get a client is by being within neck choking distance and having a conversation with them. That's why I have this like little studio. It's like a brainstorming closing room and things like that. And my clients come in and I yell at them and then they pay me money. And the biggest mistake was me going against the grain in my bones, which is have a conversation with the person, discover their problems and outline the solution. The mistake I tried in the beginning was like setting up an automatic client acquisition funnel, which is like Facebook ad strategies for acquiring Facebook ads clients. And I only realize now that like all of Cat Howell students are throwing like $600 a day, paying $600 for a lead, and they don't care because they're closing at like $6,000, right? I can't compete with that, nor could I compete with that when it's $0. I tried cold emailing for a while. That was a whole other course. It was either too technical or never got enough results. Meanwhile, I'm like, knowing that there's $1 million deals set up over like golf clubs or lunch or brunch or whatever food thing. So I just went there and I went to Chamber of Commerce's. And then all of a sudden the stars aligned and people started paying me money real fast. Like, I had a $2,000 a month client who just wanted a website and someone to talk to about website stuff. That's $2,000 a month. That would have never happened if I was cold emailing saying, hey, I'm a kid in Miami. How about you pay me $2,000 a month and I'll talk to you on the phone? That doesn't happen, right? Yeah. And so the biggest mistake I made was trying to do the cold calling, the niching, the cold emailing, which everybody talks about. It didn't work for me. And so when I stopped doing that, I started getting results.
Nice. I like that one.
Your turn.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I think all of it was a learning lesson, not so much a mistake. But one thing that I would avoid is taking on too many responsibilities that isn't your system of generating leads, sales, and ROI. Because I did web design, I helped with custom emails and building custom bots when I was starting out. And that shit just took up way too much of my time. Yep. I don't know how solo agency owners can do that and make it to 10K per month. If you're taking on way too many things that aren't in that process of just generating lead sales ROI through Facebook ads, I don't know how you can scale. And that slowed me down when I was starting out.
So you were doing custom bots, custom email. You said you're doing like custom everything.
Did a couple websites.
Everyone does that one time.
Yeah, and then that takes up time where I could prospect and I could go after new business.
And what I hate about websites is there's no like end result, no end goal. You never know when you're done. It's always based on whatever they're thinking.
Make it look pretty.
Make it pop. And you're like, what the fuck does that mean, make it pop? They're like, no, there's no popping.
Yeah.
It's just done. And then you can never have that conversation.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not interior decorator.
I enjoyed building websites for the most part.
Yeah, like seeing how stuff works.
Yeah, and then you take it back to your client and they're like, this isn't what I wanted. This is horrible. But I had fun building it.
This is awesome. We're talking about, no, it's shitty, I'm not paying you. God damn it.
Exactly.
We have a question. How do you become a chamber? How do you go to a chamber without becoming a member? You just go and you pay for lunch, and that was like 10 to 15 bucks. And you'll do about 90 days worth of cold calling and cold emailing and cold walking into businesses that don't want to talk to you. You'll do 90 days worth of that in about 30 minutes. I suggest you bounce around a bunch of chambers to find what works for you. This stuff is always like, you cannot have the idea of like, I'll just stick with this one forever. You need to be dating around for a while. And Facebook makes it pop, exactly. But as far as like chambers, just go, pay for lunch, meet and greet, all that fun stuff. You'll probably get like Equinox, like 2 or 3 free sneak-ins before they start like arguing with you. But it's totally worth it. Like, you know, like gyms.
I want to go to the gym.
It's fun. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, we can't, whatever. You could just do push-ups between like questions.
Should we?
No. And so like when I, like going to chambers, they're just people, they're normal people. If you go 2 or 3 times and you speak eloquently and you do Facebook ads, I'll ask you to present, do that presentation, do the 3 expert secret slide deck, and you'll get a table rushed, which is pretty darn cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do the chamber commerce strategy or not really?
No. I went to BNI. Went to 3 BNI sessions when I was starting out. Didn't even have to fucking pay for it.
Yep.
It's typically like $500 to $750 for a whole year, but you can actually go 3 times per most chapters. You can go 3 times without having to pay for it. I did that, and what it came down to was just starting a real life conversation with a real life human being.
That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's exhausting. Oh God, talking to people.
So I did that, did a bunch of door-to-door, and that's how I was able to build my agency so quickly and live off referrals, was because I was just meeting people in person and expediting the process, not having to bang my head against a wall, sending out emails and communicating back and forth via the internet. So yeah, just start conversations in person and throw your referral program out there. Easiest way to close a deal is through a referral.
100%. Have a referral, and then all of a sudden it's like somebody says you're awesome, somebody else says you're awesome, and they go get to meet the awesome person, and they get to ask them for money. And that's a totally different mindset than going up to a random stranger and saying, please give me an opportunity. Yep. We have a question that says, how long did it take each of you to get to 10K a month? I think when I made the transition from doing custom work to saying I just have a program and doing onboarding sessions, it was like 30 days. But it took me like 4 months to figure out that part. Like, why did it take so long? Like, I'm such an idiot, like banging my head through a wall when there's a door. The first 3 or 4 months, I would say I was like barely making like 1, 2, or 3K because I was doing what you were talking about, which is like custom work and saying yes to everything and not having an onboarding process. Yeah. But once I started doing what the books say, it was within 30 days really fast.
Books are smart.
They're like $6. It's almost free. And then there's like a lot of money in there.
Yeah. So I took Ty Lopez's program probably 1.5 years ago, and I was still working a 9-to-5 job at the time, and I got nowhere. And then I took Dan Henry's program in July of last year. That's where the stars started to align a lot, because I met awesome people that knew how to run awesome agencies, such as Jeff and Jordan Parker and Mackenzie Lieberman and all them. And they really helped me take my success to the next level. So after I got his program, it was about 2.5 months after I hit that 10K marker.
And you didn't do like paid Facebook client acquisition or cold email or anything like that, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't put a single dollar into paid advertising for my agency.
You put time into meeting people.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. That's how you should do it.
Somebody says, how do you explain it's not about how pretty the site is, it's how about it converts? So the mistake is having that conversation in the first place. What you have to do is prompt them and saying, what's our goal with the website? I do not recommend anybody do websites. It's fucking horrible, it doesn't scale. But let's say you're desperate and you need money. You want to put yourself in a position and say like, all right, what's our #1 goal when it comes to the website? And very quickly you'll find out the #1 goal with the website is to generate new leads or generate new customer opportunities or convert customer opportunities. And once you establish a number or quantitative benchmark, when you say like, great, A great website generates 30 customer opportunities a month, right, Mr. Customer? You got it. So now you can do a shitty 3-pager that has like, click here for more information, like a ClickFunnels thing. Do like $30 a day in Facebook ads. And now he's jumping up and down because the website's amazing. But if you don't have that conversation about what's our goal with the website, it'll trail off into what do you feel, what do you like, blah, blah, blah. And people change your mind so often, you don't want to rely on that. And then you'll end up paying yourself like $6 an hour to look at Theme Forest and, you know, play with Divi themes and move modules around, and nobody would ever like it.
Does this person want a new website, or is it that you are setting up their funnel and they say it looks ugly and I don't want that to be a part of my brand?
Or maybe they're trying to sell a website, which is different than somebody wanting a website.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
Correct.
I wish BeLive would fix this.
I know we can't see your names.
Yeah,
This sucks.
I'm just assuming it's the same person asking the same question.
That's so funny. The comment from Facebook.
Yeah, it's just that person.
I love that guy.
That's amazing. He's super active. What's your opening line when walking to a business cold? I've never done it. I don't suggest you do it. Maybe other people have. He does it, so he'll answer the question.
I did it.
Yeah.
So when I was starting out, it's more about body language and kind of being confident in your body language and eye contact more than anything. Because if you walk in and you look like super insecure and like you aren't articulate, then they will brush you off right away. So I would listen to some heavy metal or A Day to Remember just to get myself pumped up before I went in. But my main, like, you got to be in that state.
Is it like the scene from The Office where Dwight Schrute's like punching the back of the Honda Civic?
Let's go! Let's do this! So you kind of got to be in that state. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like
That's hilarious.
So that's a big part of it, but it's not so much what you say, but how you come off. So if you're confident, if you're able to articulate well, which I don't know how I close deals because I can't talk good.
Can't talk good mouth parts.
But immediately I would say I'm Andrew Kroeze. I run a lead generation agency. Never said I was marketing agency or advertising agency. Always lead generation agency. And I always offered something of value up front. When I was starting out, it was a 7-day free trial. All my services are free for 7 days. And then it transitioned to 30 customer opportunities per month. Is that something that interests you? And then from there, it would go, I'd like to talk to them same day, but if they couldn't, we'd set up a time to talk. And I would price it at, my package was $1,500 at the time. But a lot of times they'll say no, if that's the first day that you're meeting them. I think I only closed one person on the same day, and that was for actually $1,800 for a chiropractor. But always have a downsell. So you say $1,500, they're not comfortable with it. Offer them a week for $200 plus ad spend. So don't go in there and thinking $1,500. It's take it or leave it. Always have a downsell. 1 week for $200.
Oh, so you're saying like pitch 1,500 knowing you're probably going to get lower.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
For a week.
Yeah.
And then you show them that your process works, and then you can charge the $1,500.
I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody says 3 times. So you, Jeff, you use your onboarding process to screen your clients, ? That is correct. So I will have as many conversations with as many people as possible. And I do an onboarding session. I don't go straight into the pitch. I don't go straight into the closing. Like, no plastic surgeon will operate on a random stranger. They say, we're going to meet face-to-face a couple times first. And I take that approach as well. Same way with a doctor, lawyer, accountant. So I have my onboarding questions. Yeah, come on in. Great, fine, perfect. Yeah, this is our fun place. We get to do all these screenings, blah, blah, blah. So I have a seat, and let's figure out like your number one biggest problem when it comes to your business. I've got 15 questions. And I literally have a form that I print out and record the session. They know about it. And we have a conversation like, how many leads are you currently generating for your business? How many customers do you need to grow? Out of how many leads, how many turn to customers, how long do they stay, stuff like that. And what's been your best performing marketing? How much did you spend? About like 15 to 20 questions. And sometimes at the end of those 15 to 20 questions, it looks like this guy or gal is so bad at business, I don't want to do business with them, or so absolutely mind-blowing amazing that I don't want to help them or couldn't help them. So if there's one of those two scenarios, I say, well, Mr. Client, it looks like I can't really help you accomplish your goals. It's not that it's a bad fit. It's just that I don't like. It's just me. So I got to be like kind of selective. But the good news is that I pay 20% right at the top for any and all referrals. So if you know somebody like in your position, you just send an email, bring them in, and if I close, you get 20% right at the top every month that they sign up. And what's really, really cool is once you start doing that 2 or 3 times, you're all of a sudden the honest marketer, which is like stupid rare. Like, go talk to Jeff. He'll tell you if he can help you. It's great. And now you've got like 15, 20 people running around town saying how awesome you are because you're honest. If they aren't one of those 2 things, I then move into the pitch, and then they pay me half the time, so that turns out pretty good. Hey, Andrew, you're in Miami.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Going back to the last question, though, you should have 10 to 20 questions asking the business owner about their marketing, their sales process, and all that good stuff, because they should be talking about 80% of the time for the first half of the meeting.
Correct.
Yeah.
And don't make the mistake of being a surgeon talking about scalpels and C4s and C5s. You want to use the language that they
fucking metaphor.
Isn't it great? Yeah, that one's already written down.
I'm jealous.
So don't talk your language, talk their tribal language, which is how they describe their problems. Like mechanics, like shitty mechanics talk about valve timings, good mechanics talk about how your car swerves to the left. Use the language that they use to describe their problems, and very quickly be like, oh my God, this person gets me. And then save the active campaign and zap your conversations through your Facebook group. So that kind of, somebody wants a different colored pocket t-shirt.
Whose pocket's better?
I like mine, but yours stands out more. And you've got a matching hat.
Yay.
Also, I've got a hole in my t-shirt.
You do. Fun fact about Jeff, if he's wearing a t-shirt, it has at least 1 hole in it.
Always.
In different spots.
Yeah, you got to find it. Sometimes it's like the seam under the armpit. Other times it's down here where the tag used to be. And I was like, I don't want that tag there. And then I rip it, and then it just becomes a big hole.
I think I saw one of those yesterday.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
That's so funny.
There's 8 hours left in the day. Tell me what to do. You want to take this one or should
I? You can take it first.
Number 1, I would say make your profile confirm and convert. That's to supplement your already in-person actions of going out and meeting real-life human beings. And then I would tell the world that you do Facebook ads, or sorry, you generate leads. So those 3 things I would do time and time again. What I have found is using John Loger's AIP chart. So John Loger is one of the coaches that helped me go from here to here. And he talks about there's 4 things you should be doing every day. One of them is making a direct offer, solving someone's problem for money. The second is setting an appointment with someone who can make a direct offer to you. The third is having a conversation with someone on Spectrum Purchasing. And the 4th is teaching somebody. Do all 4 of those things every day, and you're on your way to 100K a month. I'm not there yet, but hopefully. And I would just do those 8 things, or those 4 things every day for 8 hours a day. And if you do all 4, do the next 4. And I teach that in my inner circle, and like very quickly people are going, oh my God, I did nothing today. I go, you felt busy, right? They're like, yes, but you did nothing of value. So your turn.
Really depends where you're at. It might be that. I have, to be completely honest with everybody, I have taken a little step back from everything and trying to reassess where I'm at in life and where I want to go. So today I did it's called a Core 4 activity. Basically, you fill out 4 squares of what fills you up in life. So one square I had freedom, other square I had creativity. What were the other 2? Freedom, creativity. It's not on the board anymore. But
physical fitness, was that one of it?
No. It was expansion, so learning. And then there was one more that I can't remember. Freedom.
Rereading ClickFunnels again.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it.
We'll go with that. So sometimes taking a step back isn't bad. Just reassessing things. So if that's what you need to do, meditate on it and just think about your goals and where you want to go in life. So that helps out a lot, and that's the path that I'm on right now. So.
Somebody asks, what have you found to be the best way to present or illustrate the customer's ROI from your service? I ask them. I literally just say, so like when your customer comes in, what are they buying? How often do they come back? And I just write it out like, okay, great. So they bought $20 worth of stuff. They come back 3 times a week. So each customer spends, let's just say $120 a month, $120 a week. Do they come back on like consistently, or okay, so about like 3 months on average? Great. So if I can get you a customer coming in, you can probably make them come back again, right? Your staff is on point. Cool. So it looks like if we can get a customer coming in, whether it's from Facebook or anywhere else or from your website, they could probably spend $3,000 to $5,000 over 6 months. Does that sound about right? Yes. So that's how I would do it. I don't so much illustrate as I much like literally just write it down using their words and their numbers. And I've never had a problem with somebody arguing a customer's return on investment, but I have had my clients and customers argue these leads aren't good enough or these people aren't coming back. And the way I counter that is by saying, I know, and I sneaky surveyed you, and I secret shopped you, and I did the recorded callbacks, and everybody hated you, and nobody ever called the customers back, and you tried to, what is it called, bait and switch 3 of them. And so, based upon these onboarding docs, that's not what I'm seeing. What's the difference? So I'm always prepared for that conversation. The more aggressive I get, the more money that they pay me. And I always go back to the onboarding docs and I say, you said that your clients come in and then you close them 90% of the time, which is a total lie. And so that's kind of like I would have that challenging conversation. And that's probably the best way to illustrate the potential ROI if their business operations were correct. Very often they're not, and then I upsell some strategy and services.
Yep, I have an ROI calculator that calculates it all out. So if you want that, hashtag ROI down below, I'll get it over to you.
Do you have to do that?
I just do. It's natural.
But you're not doing it on the camera. It just looks like you're like,
I don't know.
You have to do, okay.
Just let me do me.
Is that 8 tags? No. That's not correct. Okay. Very often my clients try to send me ad copy that they want to try. So depending upon the narrative that you built out, I usually take the narrative saying it has to come from the customer research, so we aren't arguing about whose copy is better. If you are not in that position or you haven't like onboarded that way, say, great, let's try it. Let's take $50 in the ad budget. We'll throw it on the wall and see what sticks. And then they very quickly have proof that they're dumb and then they don't know how to write ad copy and then they should not be making suggestions. But I don't say it that way. I go, it looks like we ran a test. The ad copy you suggested developed 0 leads across $50 compared to our previous test of generating 10 leads over $50. So which one would you like to run with? And then they always pick the second one.
Yep. Answer to anything in marketing is split test.
Yep. Who was that? JM Jeff Loger. Jeff Loger. I wish John Loger. And he runs a pretty successful, I think he's at $14 million a year now. He just travels the world and he's based out of Australia. What do you do to pre-frame and make the business owner CEOs an expert in your history and be ready? Oh God, there's too many. See your ROI hashtag, it works.
Yeah.
It's bumping everything down.
Get the ROI calculator.
You are the expert. God, stop. It's moving. You have to scroll more. What do you guys do to pre-frame and make the business owner CEOs an expert? So the first thing you should do is making your profile, your Facebook profile, confirm and convert. Very often, you'll see a lot of Facebook marketers running around town or in Facebook groups or anything like that. And you click on their profile, and they've got nothing on there that makes them look like they are Facebook profiles. Their Facebook profile is legitimate. They're hawking like all weird different services. They got some MLM crap, and they're running around saying they're a Facebook ads expert. So they disappear real fast because everybody knows they're full of shit. And so you want to have your Facebook profile documenting your marketing expertise journey. And what's really interesting is you don't actually have to be the expert. You just have to solve their problems. So if all you're doing is having conversations with people that run businesses and say, what's your number one problem? And they say generating an ROI on my marketing or generating leads for my marketing or knowing if my marketing works, just solve that problem. Doesn't matter if you're an expert. And then when they look you up on Facebook, which they're going to do no matter what, your Facebook profile looks somewhat legitimate, and then very quickly you'll see your closing rate shoot through the roof. This is a hidden problem. If, for example, like you schedule meetings with people and they don't show up, they're probably looking up on Facebook. If you're sending a whole lot of emails and nobody's responding, they're probably looking up on Facebook. If you're sending a whole lot of proposals and nobody signs or buys, they're probably looking up on Facebook and saying, whew, thank God we didn't call them back because he's a fraud. So you want to have your Facebook profile confirm and convert the fact that somebody should take an appointment with you and you can solve their business problems. Don't try to be an expert. Just go on a Facebook marketing journey, and you can go on my profile from January 2017 and see that transition. And you should be in position to say, I can solve your problems, not that I'm an expert.
Yep. That and case studies. Make sure that you're posting your case studies on your personal profile, and also have screenshots of results and testimonials and all that good stuff.
Ads manager screenshots, this worked screenshots from your client. Anytime you get any results whatsoever, like your first lead, your 100th lead, your 5th lead, your 10th lead. I like doing bi-weekly and end of months. That's what I suggest. Like at the end of every 2 weeks, you go, wow, it's been super cool. My real estate client got 50 leads for $30. And at the end of the month, you say, January has been amazing. Look at all the stuff that we did.
Real estate.
Yeah, I don't like real estate. That was a bad example. Real estate. Car wash would have been better. Somebody says, oh, we got a comment from Facebook that says, Jeff, will the martial arts be recorded and added to the inner circle? Yes, it will be. I ask that you participate because your opinions and thoughts matters. That's going up, or we're starting in like 15, 20 minutes. So,
yay.
No, I'm reinventing the wheel, but can I use my business page for this? What does that mean, business page for this?
Don't. It doesn't get any reach.
Yeah.
Use your own personal page. And a lot of people ask, like, should I make a new personal page for my business? No, because your friends and family will refer you to business. So keep posting on your personal page and don't make a new one.
Like, what has a better chance of success? Somebody who's got 25 to 30 years of network connections and real life human people interactions, or an empty Facebook profile that everyone thinks is fake? Like, which one do you think is going to lead
With
to
100 likes?
It's like, oh my God, I think this one is going to make me have a life-changing amount of income. No, it's not. It's probably this one. So you should probably use your personal profile. I guess your biggest fear is like, what if I'm a failure? I don't want to be stuck in a bucket. You really have to go all in. Personal trainers that excel become personal trainers in their bones. Lawyers that are great lawyers don't magically turn off at 5 o'clock. They're lawyers all the time. You really want to be all in and know that this is the path. And by the way, that path can change after 2 or 3 years, but just stick with the path, just like sticking with the major in college, and you'll come out the other side with a higher GPA. I like that analogy. Where did he come from?
Write it down.
Right?
Yeah. Have baggage on personal profile. I have a lot of fraternity pictures on my personal profile, so that's kind of baggage. If that's the case, I don't know what type of baggage you're talking about, or you can delete those pictures if they make you feel better, or you can block those people if you don't want them to see it.
Oh, he's got a bunch of Trump photos. So just remove them from your timeline and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Don't share shit. I hate when people share shit on Facebook.
It is pretty funny how like all my fraternity brothers who are not successful still post the same stuff. So I just remove from timeline, remove from timeline.
And it's always so negative.
All the time.
It's like
crabs pulling you back down.
That's your problem.
Let's see what else. Nobody else.
What's up, guys? That's a question.
Yeah, but he has an exclamation point.
Oh.
This person does not know how to grammar, obviously.
English better.
Unbelievable.
God.
LOL, not that, but.
Huh.
Great.
I want to know now.
Thank you, comment from Facebook. You have been instrumental in our understanding.
I don't understand anything.
I actually like philosophically, I try to come from a place of ignorance when it comes to like almost anything. And I found that you usually find the shortcut to success if you say like, but I'm not smart enough to understand, can you make it dumber? And then very quickly you come up with analogies. So it works pretty well. But yeah, I think the basic idea is if you're just starting out your Facebook ads journey, I found more success with, not Trump. Okay, so Hillary Clinton stuff or Bernie stuff, whatever it is. Just don't have stuff that makes somebody give themselves a reason to not do business with you.
Nudes.
Nudes.
That's it.
Is it their nudes?
I don't know.
It's just bananas everywhere. One thing each, please, that finally made you make the shift from struggling to cracking the code. Standardizing your program. So I've got 7 steps to a high-performing digital marketing campaign. I call it the wallet out, ready by button seat customer campaign. This is the program. No, I'm not changing it. Yes, it works. Here's proof. No, I don't care about your website. It doesn't do anything. I'm not doing your send outs. This is the program. Hint, later on, I charge them to do their website and send outs for like $5,000 and they're fine with it. But it's just having the standard program, having standard conversations, and having conversations with normal people. And all of a sudden, like the universe lines up really fast.
This is a common theme, but changing my personal profile to reflect that I do marketing. So that was the biggest change. And starting a Facebook group, it became so much easier to land clients after, like I said, I taught this stuff.
That's true.
And was like,
that's really true.
Yeah, here's my Facebook group, 500 people, 1,000 people.
And they go, oh, you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
I think my clients are in my Facebook group and I don't know it.
I have, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I have a couple.
It works pretty well. What's your next revenue goal? I really want to hit 50K a month really consistently to a point where like it's not that big of a deal anymore. I started my journey January 2017, and so it's absolutely mind-blowing to be in a position where I'm saying that number realistically and telling the world about it. And when I worked at Ericsson, there was no way any company would ever pay you for that. When I worked at Intel, there's no way any company would pay you for that. And so that's my goal, and I'm like telling the world, and we're gonna see what happens. And maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't.
Cool.
But I think that's like everybody's questions. I mean, we got a thanks, guys.
I don't get to answer that.
Oh, would you like to?
Yeah.
Oh, go for it.
My next goal is 83K, just be at $1 million run rate. So I think that should happen in a couple months if I just keep my head on straight. So we'll see.
That's crazy to say, right? Like, didn't you live with your parents?
Yeah, not too long ago.
Right?
It all happened super quick.
Where were you when Mark Zuckerberg was handing out $100 bills? That's what Billie Jean told me one time. Not me, but a crowd of people that I was in.
That's funny.
And I was like, oh, I should be there.
He basically is.
What if you don't have a results to warrant a Facebook group? Well, get the results. I think you should start that way. You can actually creep on my profile. I highly suggest it. I was doing book reviews. I was doing introspective posts, things that make sense. And I was just documenting my journey until I actually found a client.
So that's huge.
Yeah.
Document your journey. Don't feel like you need to be an expert or you have to have huge results. Just kind of show, hey, this is what I'm doing day to day. Or I read this book. This is what I learned from it.
Like everybody likes, this is going to sound weird. I'm going to run with it. Like the person that lost 50 pounds and then became like the bikini model 2018, right? Like that journey is very underdog. Americans love that story of like, I fought against my genetics and the odds in society and became like a big thing. You don't get to have that narrative if you aren't documenting everything. You don't get to have that narrative if you start up at the top. Everybody likes going back to Arnold Schwarzenegger when like he emigrated to the United States or his parents did. And like, what did he do when he was 15, 19, 20, 21, 25, all that stuff. So you have to put yourself in that position. And Facebook is probably the easiest way to do that. So just post 2 to 3 times a week, stuff that makes sense. You're documenting your journey, and you'd be surprised how often people like understand, respect, and reward you for it.
Mm-hmm.
I work with restaurants and takeaways. I love them. Should I start a Facebook group, give loads of value in there, invite them to join? I always caution against starting a Facebook group too soon, which is anti-Andrew. He says, no, not really.
No.
I would say make sure your Facebook profile confirms and converts that you really love restaurants, you really love takeaways, and you're documenting your restaurant takeaway expert journey. And then once you start doing enough lives, this is what I did to where getting 50 people watching it consistently, then you can start a group. And there's a way to do it. You can ask Andrew, like where it almost guarantees success. But I would make sure that you use your Facebook profile first. And when that is kept out, and once you hit 5,000 friends and you're doing that consistently, then move to a group, which is what Facebook wants you to do. And then they will reward you for it.
Yeah. Your Facebook group is going to fail if you don't start that way. You need to have like raving fans before you move them to a Facebook group. And if you don't have that, it's going to be really, really hard to build your Facebook group. So just start with your personal profile, post super helpful videos and engaging questions, and then you can move them to a Facebook group fairly easily.
What is the best way to learn basics of Facebook ads, and what is the next step after that? You've got a course.
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Stupid Simple Client Acquisition. It's closing down. It's not closing down. It's going up $100 at midnight tonight. So it's at 500 right now. We're going up to 1,000 over the next over the next month, and it gives you the exact walkthroughs for real estate campaigns, car dealership campaigns, Chiro campaigns, gym campaigns, all that good stuff, and all the client acquisition strategies that you can ask for. So
cool.
Yay.
Apparently everybody loves it. There's like 211 people that bought it so far.
I know. It's
everybody
crazy.
thinks it's amazing. So, and then they mistake me for you. Then they send me your testimonial.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not at all.
And
My
then
name
they
is...
ask me if they can join Jeff Miller's inner circle, and I'm like, I'm Andrew Kroeze.
That's not the same person, even though our Facebook profiles are exactly the same with the same person within 5 minutes
Yes.
of each other.
We should change our pictures.
Probably to this, actually. We can just have this be our picture, and then they can guess who's who.
So
no, that wouldn't work. All right, I think that's it because I got to start this masterclass.
Oh, yep. So Jeff has to go. He has a masterclass. But again, if you guys want that ROI calculator, ROI down below. Thank you for the hashtag. But thanks for being here, guys. If this was valuable, smash the fuck out of that heart button. And I will see you in the next one.